Joining me right now, retired four-star general and Fox News senior strategic analyst, and one of my most favorite people to talk about all of these international issues with, General Jack Keane. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good to see you, Trish.
All right, so what do we think of this one?
Well, let me tell you, the Iranians have been threatening us and killing us since the 1980s. That's 38 years of this stuff. And I'll tell you what, no Republican or Democratic president in that entire time has ever pushed back on us. What am I talking about? They blew up two of our embassies, one in Lebanon and one in Kuwait, and also blew up the Lebanon annex. They blew up two of our barracks, one Marine barracks and one Air Force barracks. And we pulled our military out of both of those countries, Lebanon and Saudi Arabia. For 10 years, they conducted a kidnapping and hostage campaign, which nearly brought down the Reagan presidency. They hung and killed our CIA station chief and some other government employees and officials as well. And then for 4 years in Iraq, for 4 years, they conducted an exclusive Target American-only campaign that at conservative estimates killed about 500 of our people. Some people think it's actually over 1,000. So finally, we have a president who's not coddling them like Obama was for 8 years, who's standing up to them. And 2 weeks after the inauguration, they test-fired a ballistic missile, and the president sanctioned them and said this: if you do anything in terms of your aggressive and malign behavior, again, against our allies or against the United States, I'm not going to stand for it. And that's where that policy has been since then, to include getting rid of the nuclear deal. He's trying to put together an Arab NATO in the Middle East where the strategic enemy is Iran. So I think this president is moving in the right direction. He's got a no-nonsense attitude about it, and he and his team are trying to convey that to the Iranians so they stay out of trouble.
You know, I think in so many ways he really can't win, though, with the mainstream media and some members of the left, because right now, you know, Iran's basically saying what the left keeps saying. They think that somehow Trump and his policies are going to lead to World War III. And this is what Iran says. And basically, they're just echoing what we hear from those that are the biggest Trump critics right here in the United States of America. So in many ways, they have fed Iran the script. And what bothers me, General, is that they seem to be agreeing more with our enemies, with Iran, than with our president.
Well, yeah, certainly the media certainly is so focused on the president they can't actually see what the plan is there. You know, the reality is the Iranian strategy to drive the United States out of the region, to destroy the state of Israel, and to dominate and control the entire Middle East is something they have been talking about for those entire 38 years. And listen, their strategy has worked. This intimidation, coercion, and killing of us over those years has got them what? All of Lebanon with 130,000 rockets and missiles they're pointing at Israel. They've now got a strategic anchor in Syria. They have more political influence in Iraq than we have. They started another civil war in Yemen so they can take over control of that country and also take the strategic waterway that's the entrance to the Suez Canal. So these guys have they've had success.
So let's think about it again on the global stage, considering Russia and all these accusations, of course, that our president is too close to Russia, et cetera, et cetera. Don't forget, Russia and Iran are pretty close. So I just wonder, General, and look, you're not a student of the media, but had the president come out and not been harsher on Iran, there would have been those that would say, see, we knew he was in Putin's back pocket somehow, some way. In other words, he can't win on this stuff. But if you take us forward here, and if Iran continues this rhetoric and continues its aggressive strategy, what will we do?
Well, if they do anything in terms of some kind of military action, intimidating and coercing our shipping, you know, they haven't done any of that in a year now. And it's no accident, new president here. We'll blow their PT boats out of the water. I'm convinced we're not going to put up with that nonsense. And he's pulling together the Sunni Arabs in a way that we've never been able to do that in the past. And that's a major muscle movement. Look, at what we're trying to do is create deterrence here so they don't take any further aggressive action. That's where the president's policy is, and it makes a lot of sense.
Kind of like we did with North Korea?
It's the same thing. I mean, it wasn't the president's rhetoric, Rocket Man, and that sort of stuff that got got Kim Jong-un's attention and President Xi's attention in China, it was the maximum economic pressure that was slapped on that regime, and the fact that the military option was put back on the table by the president and Secretary Mattis, and they knew that was credible. Those two things combined is what brought Kim Jong-un to discuss the issue, at least put himself on a potential path to denuclearization. Remains to be seen.
It always comes back to the economy. That financial pressure can be a heck of a lot of pressure. General, thank you.
Yeah, good talking to you, Trish.
Good to talk to you.